Imagine this. You're standing in front of a woman who seems completely out of your league. She's confident, stunning, and used to men bending over backwards for her. Yet, somehow, she looks at you differently, not as just another guy trying to impress her, but as someone she can't quite figure out. Someone she wants. What if I told you that women, no matter how confident or independent they seem, have psychological weak spots, flaws in their emotional armor that most men never notice? And if you understand these weaknesses, you won't just attract women. You'll control the dynamic without even trying. This isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding what actually moves women on a subconscious level. Because attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. Most men appeal to the surface level, trying to impress with words, money, or looks. But the men who truly command a woman's attention, they tap into the forces she can't resist. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And when you understand these weaknesses, you are not reacting to her moods or her tests. You are observing, understanding, and responding with calm control. And that control is what makes you irresistible. You don't need to shout. You don't need to force anything. You simply need to be the man who knows his value and refuses to give it away for free. That is the man she will respect. That is the man she will honor. That is the man she will bow to. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through self-respect, discipline, and unwavering presence. Before we get into these weaknesses, let me make something crystal clear. This is not about manipulating women. It's about understanding human nature. There's a difference. Manipulation is controlling someone against their will. Understanding is knowing what drives people so you can connect with them on a deeper level. And when you understand female psychology, you stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop wondering why she lost interest. You become the man she chases. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you cultivate thoughts of self-respect, purpose, and understanding, your soul reflects that. And she will see it, she will feel it, and she will be drawn to it. Because in a world of men who are chasing, a man who is centered in himself is a rare and precious thing. Now, let's get into the first hidden weakness that gives you an unfair advantage over 99% of men. Weakness 1. The craving for emotional escapism. Most men assume that women are logical in love, that they choose partners based on stability, looks, or even status. But the truth is, women fall for the experience a man gives them, not just the man himself. Women crave a man who pulls them into a different emotional reality. Why do you think they fantasize about bad boys, mysterious strangers, or forbidden love stories? It's not because they want trouble. It's because they're addicted to feeling something unpredictable, something different from the routine of their lives. And here's where most guys fail. They're too predictable. They text her the same way every day. They agree with everything she says. They make her feel comfortable, but not alive. And that's exactly why so many men get stuck in the friend zone. They provide companionship, but they don't trigger emotions powerful enough to make her see them as anything more. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And when you learn to create emotional contrast, you are not reacting to her. You are creating a reaction in her. And that is a different kind of power. It is the power of the man who understands that attraction is not about what you say, but about how you make her feel. So, how do you take advantage of this? You have to create an emotional contrast. Women don't fall for the guy who's just nice. They fall for the man who makes them feel something. Start by mixing unpredictability into your interactions. Don't always be available. Is greater than music. Is greater than challenge her opinions instead of agreeing with everything. Tell stories that pull her into a different world. The key is not to be just another predictable option. The moment a woman sees you as an experience rather than just a man, she won't just be interested, she'll be hooked. Think about the men who have had the most impact on your life. Were they the ones who were always predictable, always safe, always easy to categorize? Or were they the ones who kept you guessing, who challenged you, who made you feel something you hadn't felt before? The answer is almost always the latter. Predictability is comfortable, but it is not exciting. And excitement is what fuels attraction. When you are unpredictable in a controlled way, when you keep her guessing without being chaotic, you become someone she wants to figure out. And that wanting to figure you out is the beginning of obsession. And speaking of hooks, let's move on to another weakness most women will never admit. Weakness 2. The unspoken addiction to strong boundaries. There's a reason why the men women chase the hardest are never the ones who chase first. It's because women aren't wired to respect men who give themselves away too easily. Most guys think being agreeable, available, and always accommodating will make a woman like them more. In reality, it does the opposite. It makes her take you for granted. Women are naturally drawn to men who set the tone in the relationship. They want a man who isn't afraid to say no, a man who values his own time, his own mission, and his own self-respect, because that kind of man is rare. Think about it. A woman will never admit she wants a challenge, but look at who she spends time with. It's never the guy who makes himself too available. Is greater than, music is greater than. It's the one she feels she has to work for. And here's the secret. Women test men all the time, whether they realize it or not. They'll cancel plans just to see if you'll chase. They'll push your buttons to see if you'll crack. They'll try to dominate the conversation just to see if you'll back down. But the moment she realizes that you stand firm in your values, that you won't bend just to please her, she stops testing and starts respecting you. And respect, that's the foundation of real attraction. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." When you have strong boundaries, you are not anxiously dependent on her approval. You are grounded in yourself, and that grounding is what makes her respect you. So, if you ever feel like a woman is losing interest, ask yourself, are you holding your ground? Or are you just trying to keep her happy? Women don't fall for men who give them everything. They fall for men who make them earn it. And once you understand this, the entire game of attraction changes. Let me give you a real example of how this plays out. There was a man named Michael, age 47. He had been dating a woman for 3 months. Everything was going well, but she started to pull away. She would cancel plans at the last minute. She would take hours to reply to his messages. Michael was confused. He had been a great boyfriend. He was attentive, caring, always available. He thought that showing up consistently would make her feel secure. Instead, she was pulling away. So, Michael made a change. He stopped being so available. He stopped chasing. He started focusing on his own life, his own goals, his own friends. He didn't ignore her, but he stopped making her the center of his world. Within 2 weeks, she reached out. She wanted to see him. She wanted to talk. She had felt the shift. She had realized that Michael was a man with options, a man who could walk away, a man who was not guaranteed. And that realization triggered something in her. She started investing more effort, not because Michael asked, but because she didn't want to lose him. This is the power of strong boundaries. When you stop being so easily available, you become more valuable in her eyes. She begins to see you as a man who is chosen by the world, not a man who is desperate for her attention. Now, let's talk about another weakness that keeps women chasing even when they don't realize it.